Alright, this is Sneaker Gears. My name is Levi, and welcome to another Performance Gears episode where today we're looking at a full review of the Nike Adapt BB. So let's get right into it. Alright, so I wanted to do a comparison to this video, and it was tough to find an actual comparison. One, because nothing's in the price range. This is a $350 shoe, so we can't quite put a value on it or put a price tag or something similar. The closest thing to this is going to be honestly the $275 Vaporfly Next running shoe, which is not in the category. And then you have your $200 LeBron kind of HFR, which you can kind of compare, but this is a fast court play, really nice fitting shoe. So it's two different categories. So the best two shoes to compare this to are actually going to be, really only one from Nike, and not really the Kyrie 5 because that has too much cushion. And the court feel, this actually plays closer to, like, say, the Kyrie 4, maybe the Kobe AD, but this has a lot better impact protection. So really it came down to, with the impact protection, it's going to be the KD12, but again, that's not quite an exact comparison either. So let's go to Adidas camp. The Adidas camp has, the closest would be their light strike cushion on their Adidas Next Level, but that really doesn't have much impact protection. So you have the KD12 that's way above what this offers, and you have the light strike, which is a quick playing foam, but isn't nearly as much impact protection this offers, even though those are pretty similar. So let's take us to Under Armour. All right, so Under Armour, their flagship, the Curry 6, surprisingly plays really close to this guy. So we're going to compare the Curry 6 at $130 to the Nike Adapt BB at $350. So for the given time, let's just take price out of it, which I know is hard to do, and just look at each category, starting as always with the fit. All right, so starting with the Curry 6, this guy is amazing, and I say that because it took them 3 generations, from the 4 to 5 to now the 6, where they're using 3 different kinds of knit. Just a few overlays right here on the tip that's actually really soft. A couple of enclosures where the laces are. You'll see kind of those heat welds. But other than that, it uses a really soft knit on the top. It uses kind of a firmer knit that's backed right here in the protection areas. And then it even uses kind of a mid knit right here in the toe. Overall, the fit is fantastic. Now, if you have a narrow or, I guess, normal foot, you actually could go down half a size on these. I was able to go true to size. It is wide foot friendly. And funny enough, every time I put it on, it takes about 5-10 minutes, and it does mold to your foot really nicely. Now, one thing I did have an issue with was a little bit of heel slippage. And if you take a look at the laces here, I actually use this back area where the laces come all the way through, and one of my subscribers, you guys comment and say, hey, why don't you use that? Now, I don't think this is a lace loop, but I'm actually coming back around here, tying it up around. That completely eliminated any kind of heel slippage. It really pulled me back in, and it worked. And I don't know if Under Armour intended that. Now, the reason for having such a big opening is, if you watch Curry, obviously he plays with a fairly large ankle brace, so this is definitely very friendly if you do have an ankle brace. But the materials, the fit, it just feels like a high-end shoe. It is comfortable. Love the fit on these, and that was one of the things I wanted to compare with the Adapt BB, because the Adapt BB at $350, its claim to fame is having the best fit, the most customizable fit, and to that I can say it's kind of true. It uses a double quadraxial knit, and I don't know if you guys can see that, which is really flexible. It doesn't really feel like anything. If you look underneath, and I'll get a zoom in here, you have pretty much the exact same knit underneath here, and so it's almost like wearing 2 really soft knit on top, and then underneath that you have a tongue that wraps almost all the way around. So you have a lot of layers coming up on here that are protecting you from those laces. Now, the laces, when they torque down, they can torque down really big. I recommend pretty much anyone, narrow foot or wide, go up that half size, so you actually give the shoe the ability to tighten down. If you go true to size, I'm going to say this actually does run a little bit small. So even if you go true to size and you like the way it fits, you're not allowing it to torque down all the way. I actually torque mine down to about 85, and it's a scale of 1 to 100. And I actually do play around between 85 and 90. As you play, the shoe starts to give a little bit, so I do have to go up to 90 depending on the play. I actually have gone down as low as 75 depending on my foot is when it starts to swell. So it's something where it does give you a degree of accuracy when you're torquing it down and tightening it. Nike has said with further updates they will allow you to go even further, so not just degrees of 5 but individual, so you can tighten it down to maybe 87 or 92. That being said, it is not necessarily wide foot friendly. It fits like a Kobe. I had to go with my size 13, so this is one size larger, and they fit really similar. But this is $350. Now, that being said, I still have some issues right here in the midfoot where my foot is wide. If you have a wide toe box, it's not really as forgiving as you would want it to be. But if you go up that half size, I think you're going to be okay. And the way it torques down, it really does kind of adjust to your foot as it needs to. So overall, really nice fit. Pretty much, I think, better than most shoes in the market. But the standard is $350. It's a lot of money, and playing back to back, I almost prefer the fit on the Curry 6. And if I'm going to give the edge, I'm probably going to give it to the Curry 6. Going back to the materials real quick, on the initial pair, I really didn't like the materials simply because it was black with kind of this cheap silver. So this still uses, I would say, a slightly darker silver that blends more with kind of that charcoal color. So it's not as obvious. I hate those kind of 3 circles. That looks kind of chintzy. On this colorway, it just kind of blends in. Also, the back heel tab, as opposed to being suede and it really felt like a cheap nubuck, this is a leather, and it kind of does smell like real leather. It feels like real leather, and I hope for $350 it is real leather, but it does definitely feel nicer in hand. So this is a really small touch, but it is a little bit nicer. Same thing with the materials. On the black pair, it really just feels like a boring knit, and on this pair where you have that white underlaying underneath as well as the gray, you can really see the details and intricacies a little bit more. So I would say the materials on this felt a little better than the initial black colorway. Again, is it worth $350? I'm not going to say that. I would probably say no, but you can appreciate that. And the reason I would say no, it's not worth $350. The little brother KD12 is actually really similar with a quadriaxial flywire underneath. So obviously the materials are not as premium. It does feel a little bit more plasticky, but you're getting a really similar fit for all you guys who have bought the KD12. And I haven't heard anything but positive reviews. Pretty much, you're not missing out, just to give you an idea. And the materials feel as good, maybe a little bit of a step down, but the fit is going to give you a very similar fit, and that's for $200 less. Working our way down to the support, you know what, we'll be really quick with that. It's okay. You have a really flat, solid base. I really like the outrigger here. This feels a little bit more stable than either the KD12 or the Curry 6, and surprisingly, since the Curry, obviously he's the best shooter ever, so you would figure that would be the most stable. And I think the Curry 4 and 5 were more stable than the Curry 6. The Curry 6 added a little bit of a little quickness to it, so you do feel faster. This is going to be a little bit more stable, has a much wider base than what it would tell you for the fit, but it feels nice. The midfoot shank is really just the motor, which takes up a huge portion of it, so it doesn't have too much give. It has a lot of torsional rigidity, and the heel cup, this is really solid. So overall, it's pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't say it's as good as something like the Why Not 2 if you're looking for max support, but it's close, and on a low top, this is actually really good if I'm gonna give it credit. Curry 6 actually gives you this plastic kind of speed plate, they're calling it, on the side, which for lateral movements, you really feel stable, you feel in the shoe. It does have a torsional plate here, as the entire midsole is that hover cushioning, and again, it does have a little bit of roundness to it. It is fairly stable, you can see how flat it is, but because you have that cutout here, because you have the flex screws, it just plays quicker. So I would say it's still very stable, but if you're comparing to the Curry 4 or the Curry 5, you're going to notice it is maybe a slight step down. We're talking from, say, 100% stability as far as taking a shot being very flat to probably closer to, say, 87%. As far as the rest of the shoe, you have a kind of light heel cup here, nothing too major. You have the cushion that comes up where you sit in the midsole a little bit, so you just feel more within this shoe. It becomes part of your foot. So overall, I really do like the support on this. I think it is just enough, kind of like the Jordan 33. So the support is definitely more on the Adapt BB, and you do feel a lot more secure in that, but this is more than adequate. The cushion. Here is the main point. Here's what we're talking about. And again, if you're talking about the most expensive shoe from Nike, other than this, you have the $275 Vaporfly Next Percent. Our guy in Chicago, Kofuzi, who does his running reviews, I would love to collaborate with him sometime. He got his pair. He probably paid a lot of money because he didn't get it from the sneaker app. He got it from StockX. He's been running that nonstop. He's probably going to put 100 miles in it in like a week, but he's had nothing but glowing things to say about it. It is giving you the latest in the upper technology, the latest in cushioning, all these improvements. And for $350, which is even more expensive, on a basketball shoe, we're getting kind of a nice foam. It absorbs impact actually really well. There's no bounce to it. That's why it reminds me of the Light Strike from Adidas. There's nothing bouncy, there's no energy return, but the problem with the impact absorption, and we'll take a look here, I don't know if you guys can see it, but where that black part starts is where the motor is. You can actually, it becomes very hard. So from literally right here all the way to right here is the motor. This thing, and there's no flex, there's no cushion, it is hard. So if you're running and you're a mid or forefoot striker, you're gonna be hitting this hard plate right here. You really have to run heel to toe. I'm not a heel to toe runner. So if I was playing anything full court, I just didn't like it that much. In game of 32, it's okay. You know, you're always on the balls of your toes. You reset, you check the ball, that's fine. Playing one-on-one, you're good to go. In full court, even though when you would land, the impact absorption was great, on running, I just couldn't really enjoy it. And the flip side of that, we go to the Curry 6, you have something that is firm, quicker, you feel closer to the ground, you feel faster just overall, but, and here's the beautiful part, the hover cushioning actually gives you a little bounce back. There's energy return. When you're running full court, you feel a little push off. When you land, you feel like, hey, it's wanting you to go back up. So this does just a beautiful compromise of being firm, fast playing, having court feel, but doing just as good of a job absorbing the impact, especially if you're a bigger guy, and giving you just that slight energy return only when you need it. So it's not super bouncy. It's not something where you're gonna compare it to anything else that's full length and talking like the KD12 with that super bouncy midsole, or in the Zoom Air that's right under your feet. But if you're looking for a fast, quick playing shoe, this has been my go-to this year. This has been absolutely phenomenal. And then talking about cushioning, this is something you feel on your foot, just the weight. This is coming in a size 12 at about a 14, and let's take a look here, 0.5 ounces. So under a pound and a size 12 for my foot, that's pretty good. If we take a look at your Adapt BB, this is something that not only is it bottom heavy, of course you feel that this is all just mesh on top, but it's coming in at 19.3 ounces. So you're talking about a shoe that's almost 5 ounces heavier. You feel that. And then if you want to throw the KD12 in there, which you have something where the upper feels as good, the cushion feels way better, and the traction, we'll get to that in a second, this is coming in at just over a pound at 16.3. This is still 3 ounces lighter. So this is a heavy shoe, guys. Now you're getting a lot of tech for it, but if you're talking about on-court performance, we're not talking about style, flexing and height, it's not starting to look good. So let's take a look at the traction. All right, the traction. If you have a clean court and you have a clean shoe, this shoe bites hard. It feels amazing. You stop on a dime. I can only imagine playing on an NBA court that's freshly waxed, where you can actually wipe your shoes on the sideline, where they have that little mat on the floor. The grip is outstanding. Again, in a game of 32, in a game of one-on-one, you can wipe your foot pretty much each play. The bite is incredible. I love it. It felt great. When playing full court, you can't wipe every play. You're going on offense, you're going on defense, you're going on offense, you're going on defense. You're hoping someone calls for the score, so obviously you have time to wipe your feet. When someone checks the ball, hopefully you're at a point where you can wipe your shoes, but you're finding yourself having to wipe way too often. And if you don't wipe, what happens is it gets slippery. This is not a traction you can trust. So let's take a half step down. The KD12, on the other hand, it doesn't bite nearly as hard, but it's consistent. I can play longer without wiping, and if I don't wipe, it has a moderate kind of loss. You don't feel like, hey, just gonna go out from under you. You feel like, hey, there's a little bit of dust there. I'm not gonna stop as hard, but it still has your back covered. We take that to the Curry 6, and this is just a step below Hall of Fame. This is very close to what you're getting, say, on your Why Not 2. Not up to your LeBron 6 and your Jordan 33 or LeBron 16, but the traction of this is outstanding. Today, just wrapping it up before I did the review, I played an hour in each, and I actually did not have to wipe. I felt the end of the hour, I probably could have wiped, whereas I was wiping on those probably every 5 minutes. I kid you not, I think I counted 10 to 12 times. So just to give you an idea, at this price point, you better have the best traction, because that's the easiest thing to calculate as far as using the rubber compound and getting it right. And the one thing I can say is the smoke colorway, the gray colorway, this did do a better job than the icy colorway. And this traction did improve as I play on it. So after about 5 wears, 6 wears, 7 wears, it got better. But at the same point, you still had to wipe a lot. So this is not a traction I can trust nor recommend. Wrapping it up, in conclusion, I'm glad I'm able to do a full review on it and able to do a comparison for you guys. But if you want the Adapt BB and you're like, man, that's a shoe that looks great, that Jason Tatum played in it, you know, this is something that athletes are wearing in NBA. Unfortunately, the Curry 6 beats it hand down in almost every category, and it's going to give you a very similar feel, just more refined, lighter, better cushion, better traction, and a fit that's actually really close. And you're getting all that for almost 3 times less money. Now, you can talk about the hype, the look, the style, and that's up to you. But for my hoopers out there, men, women, if you're looking to buy a shoe and wear it on court and you want something similar, this actually does a really good job. If you're part of Team Swish, you go to a Nike college, or hey, I only wear Nike, honestly, the Kobe AD is a similar shoe where you're getting not really great traction. You're getting cushion that doesn't really give you the impact protection, but is a very similar feel. But the KD12 is going to give you actually a similar fit, better support, better traction, and way better cushion. And you can even watch Nightwing's review. I think he called this his shoe of the year for 2019. And honestly, overall, it might be, because this is giving you the court feel, the quick feeling, but you're still getting a lot of bounce and energy return, where it gives you almost a big man cushion setup in a lightweight package. So it's just a really well-rounded shoe, and at $150, it's worth every penny. Obviously, if you can get it cheaper, I've seen these at 20% off already, so you get it at $120. This has been phenomenal, and at that point, you're even cheaper than the Curry. But the Curry is going to play a little bit quicker, but I can't fault the KD12 in almost any area. You guys have seen my reviews. If you're looking at these shoes all together, you have 2 really good options. Then you have the Adapt BB. If you like that video, please give it a thumbs up. Really appreciate you guys. Subscribe to the channel down below. If you're wondering, what about the Sneaker Gears insoles or Velocity cushion? They work really well in the Curry 6s. On the Adapt BB, you know, I didn't have as much success, and also that had to do because the bottom was just so heavy. It felt a little bit weird. Same thing, I have not tried them on the KD12 simply because it already has full-length zoom, so I'm gonna put a full-length cushion on top of that. If you guys want me to try it, absolutely, but something like the Curry 6, it just gave an awesome balance where I have something that's super cushioned when I need it, you go lifting, your legs are tired, and you have something that's court feel if you don't, so it made a really good compromise. If you've already ordered your Velocity cushion insoles, those will be shipping out here in the month of May, so I appreciate the patience for all you guys. If you've ordered already, you will be getting a discount code for future orders. If you've not ordered, those are coming in soon, so you can get your full-length Velocity cushion insoles and really take any shoe to the max as far as giving you a lot of cushion no matter what shoe you have. As always, this is Levi of Sneaker Gears. Really appreciate you guys, and I'll come at you later.